What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I'm going to break down some very important news about NIO. I'm going to talk about Tsla and the overall market right now. I'm also going to break down some very bullish news that just came out as Abu Dhabi has taken a 7% stake in NIO, and they're investing almost $1 billion into the company. I'm also going to break down why tomorrow is going to see lots of volatility for the markets because Jerome Powell is going to be speaking, and how all of this may affect NIO going forward. Before I break anything down about all this information, let me just mention a couple of things real quick. Firstly, I'm not a financial planner. Take none of this as financial advice. And also, don't forget about the Moomoo link. The offer ends very soon. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks with a $100 cash reward. The offer ends very soon. Please check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. So anyways, when it comes to NIO, okay, this thing was down 0.43% for the day. It dipped with the market going forward. It actually gapped down like this and it started pumping a little bit. It didn't completely finish. I think it came very close to filling this gap. And overall, it's holding up quite nicely still. It's only down 0.43%. But please remember, over the last couple of weeks, last week and a half, NIO has been pumping like crazy. It used to be in the sevens. Now it's getting very close to $10. It's still holding up quite nicely. But the question is, why did the market dip the way it did? Let's first talk about that. In the morning, I warned you guys yesterday, actually, that SPY could see some downside. So could the QQQ, and this might cause NIO to see a little bit of downside too. NIO gapped down because SPY came all the way down to 435, and many technicals were suggesting a pullback would come, but the market got bought up right after. And now the question is, how will the market move for tomorrow depending on Powell? Just to remind you guys, tomorrow, let's look here first. Jerome Powell is going to be speaking 30 minutes after the market opens. He's going to be giving a testimony. We have lots of Fed speakers. Powell could pump the market or he could cause it to make a very, very big move. I don't know what he's going to do, but so far, if he pumps the markets, NIO could make a big move to the upside and get closer to $10. If he causes the market to drop and he says some hawkish things, if the market drops so far, the market, it comes down, then it starts to get a lot of buyers at these lower levels and the market starts to get pumped right back up. That's the trend that's still continuing, and we're still holding some pretty decent levels on SPY and the QQQ and NIO. Tomorrow, Jerome Powell is going to be speaking to the House Financial Services Committee. Then he's going to be speaking again on Thursday to the Senate Banking Committee. Overall, the market's holding up. But we have some huge news that just came out. Okay? I'm not saying that this news has to cause NIO to explode tomorrow. It does not have to cause NIO to explode immediately. But for the long-term future, this is insanely bullish news. Very, very bullish news. NIO has snagged a $740 million investment from Abu Dhabi. The government fund is going to be investing almost $1 billion into NIO, helping NIO to expand its international business. This is very, very bullish because NIO is gaining more and more partners. NIO is gaining more and more parties out there who are gaining stakes in the companies and continuing to shake hands with the company to help it grow going forward and to help them pursue new global opportunities. This is also opening more doors for the company alongside many other individuals for more and more power in different countries and more market share going forward. Because soon we could see NIO even expand to locations in this area. This is very, very bullish news. And there's a big market over there, believe it or not. Now, on top of all of this, we're continuing to see NIO expand its business, and by securing huge deals like this, think about the funds NIO has access to now. Just think about it. They have a shareholder that's putting in all this money, giving NIO more leverage, more power, more securities, and more expansion capabilities. NIO is partnering in a way, they have like a close tie now with the giant, the Abu Dhabi government fund. Billions and billions of dollars, if not trillions, are existent in this country. And NIO is once again forming more deals. I consider this just very, very bullish news. Now, on top of this, they basically acquired about 84 million shares of NIO. And you can see right here, that's totaling about $738.5 million, about $740 million. The firm right over here, owned by the Abu Dhabi government, is deploying more capital and they're trying to accelerate more growth for a sustainable future. So they're doing this not just for fun, not just to make money, but they're bullish on NIO. They wouldn't have invested this much money if they weren't bullish. And they also are doing this because they believe it's going to help bring a sustainable future. But if it's a sustainable future for them, why would they invest in NIO? Could it be that they have some plan to expand in these other companies, into like the city, into the, like United Emirates and other cities, other countries? I mean, that could be huge for NIO, massive for the company. And I'm very excited about this. Now, as far as NIO goes from a technical standpoint, you can see right here, it's getting some equal weight ratings from Barclays saying that NIO is going to perform well. And NIO tends to be green about 55% of the time on Tuesday, so the odds do favor a little more upside. The short interest on NIO is starting to go up. We saw about 17.5 million NIO shares shorted, and the news is still talking about this. It's all over the news. Abu Dhabi taking a huge stake in NIO. I mean, I'm just so impressed by this. I can't wait for what's about to come going forward. NIO still has decent volume, 52 million, not too bad, and now it's just a matter of time. And I also warned you guys that even if NIO slowed down, even if NIO came down because of the market or whatever, NIO has potential to pump even more as soon as we start July because they have the deliveries report coming out. If they give us a strong deliveries report, if they do very well, NIO has potential to continue to pump. If not, it could cool off a bit. So we have to remain very, very conscientious and very patient when looking at these charts. So for SPY, if Jerome Powell pumps the markets tomorrow, if it manages to hold above the 1 hour 50 EMA, above the 438 zone, this thing could fly to 440, then 442 is going to be the next resistance above that. If it breaks down because of Powell, watch the 436 zone as support. If that fails us, we're going to be watching 435 and potentially even lower levels. But like I said before, for the market, as the market dips, yes, it could dip more, but we're still seeing a lot of buyers stepping in at these lower levels. If 435 fails us, watch 433, then potentially 430. 430 is going to be very strong support, so watch that carefully. Tesla is on fire, and this was a lot better than what I was expecting in the morning. But then Tesla had some very, very good news that came out involving Rivian. If Tesla continues to fly, now that it's holding above 275, if it holds this, we're going to be watching 277.5, then potentially 280. If it breaks 280, this thing could go to 282.5, then potentially 285 to 286. 285 to 286, so this zone like right here. Let me actually redraw this for you. So this entire zone, hold on, let me fix this. Give me 1 second. The 285, 286 zone is going to be very important because Tesla has quite a bit of resistance up here, but it still has a lot of potential. Let me just bring up a rectangle like right here. I'm going to be watching this zone if Tesla does break out even more. We have some heavy resistance right there. But if Tesla breaks down temporarily because of Powell, watch support at 272, 270, then 268, followed by 266. It's unlikely, looking at the current trend, it's going to drop that hard. Lots of buyers are still stepping in. But just be prepared just in case Powell does cause a slight rug pull. 270 is going to be strong support for Tesla as well. It is still continuing to pump in the after hours, but for now, it's looking pretty good. Last but not least for the QQQ, before I talk about NIO, if you're bullish on this, watch 368 as resistance. Break this, we're going to be watching 370. If it breaks down below 366, watch 365, 363, and potentially 362 after that. In my opinion, if it comes down again, it's likely going to get bought up as well, and it's still holding up quite nicely, not looking too bad. Finally, for NIO, if NIO is bullish tomorrow because of Powell, watch resistance at 9.5. If it breaks 9.5, it has the potential to get closer to $10. If it gets to $10, it's going to be fighting some strong resistance between 10.21 and about 10 flat. Now, NIO has this imbalance up here. It may make its way all the way back up to the $10, 10.21 area if it breaks 10. And if it continues to break out, I mean, if it breaks the high it made at 10.21, we could be seeing 10.4 and potentially 10.66. But if NIO breaks down because of Powell, watch the $9 support. That's going to be very key for it. If that breaks, there's 8.66 is the next major support, followed by 8.2 and then $8. I think what's very likely is if NIO does get hit to the downside, it's going to get bought up again because of all this bullish news that's coming out. And if it pumps more, well, that's also great because of Powell. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow because it depends on what Powell says, but just watch these levels carefully and just know the long term for NIO is very, very bright. Abu Dhabi just invested almost $1 billion into NIO. They're continuing to buy into these companies and they are bullish. They believe that NIO is going to help create a more sustainable future for the world, for many different countries, and they're very, very bullish. This is amazing news. I cannot wait for what the future holds. Remain calm, cool, and collected. I'll see you guys very, very soon. I also have some merch if you're interested in buying a shirt that says money is calling or to the moon or buy the dip or something like that. A shirt, a tank top, or a hoodie, it's up to you. And with that said, thank you for listening. Have a great day. NIO to the moon as the long term is still incredibly bright. And peace out.